Welcome back to the trail. Here we are. We're in sort of Fleetwood area, and we are on day one of the Wyre Way. It's a 3-day hike. We've got the sunshine. 3-day hike, 45 miles. Carrying the lightest pack load I've ever carried for overnighters. Really stripped the pack down to absolute bare essentials, but anyway, I'll get to that later. We started the trail at the Shard Riverside Inn. That's the official start, and as we go I'll explain the route, the history of it, and how I came to walk it. Now, I've done the entire route before in 3-day segments, but we're going to do it as a through hike. We're going to do all 45 miles this gorgeous weekend. So let's pick up the trail start and let's get after it. Oh yeah, feel like a mountain gazelle. Well, I say there's a history. I couldn't really find anything on the internet, on Wikipedia or anything like that, given the year the route was discovered, but it's generally considered one of the UK's national long distance walks and is usually attempted in at least 3 days, so there you go. So as you can tell, quite breezy today. We've got sunshine and cloud, but a strong wind, and I think the wind will manage to keep the rain away, so it should make for nice walking weather. But this is sort of the unofficial official start of the way, because it's sort of a loop. It's like a handcuff shape. There's a loop at the beginning and a loop at the end. So we're at the first loop. It's going to take us up to sort of the ferry across to Knot End, but that's much later on. But we start by following the river up, only for a short spell. You've got to be careful here, because straight away you might have a tide issue depending what time you start. But we have only got a short jump? What the heck's a jump? Short yomp over to an exit, which puts us back on the road, which is going to take us through the marina there. So we'll do this bit. In the past I've skipped it when I've day hiked this way, simply for ease. It's a bit boggy, it's a bit of a treacherous walk, but for the sake of the video, to do the full walk, we'll go this way. Alright, so let's get on it. So as I say, I'd normally skip this bit out, and at certain times of the year this is going to be completely boggy, waterlogged, but obviously having come from the bridge over there, it's not actually that bad today. It's quite solid, and the grass appears quite dry, so just be aware of it whichever time of year you might walk this trail. But we're coming off it now. We're going to pick up a footpath which joins the main road and then heads that way into the marina. Picturesque as always. Well, that was unpleasant. So the original route would have took you to that main road, but where all those guys were working, so we just had to cut around the lodge, come back on ourselves. But back on the trail, there's the river trickling down. Yeah, so the first part, the first day, it's going to be about 15-16 miles to the campsite. We've got 2 nights of camping, so we're going to do this loop. It's going to go clockwise up to Fleetwood, I think, daft as that sounds, should really check, but up to there, and then take the ferry for a couple of quid across the short gap to Knot End, and then south back round through a golf course, of course, and then onto the campsite. So it's a really nice trail. I've done it this will be the third time. Did it first on my own, second took the guys on it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. This car go past. Especially when the sun has really sort of been hot and you could get an ice cream. So you can see the marina just starting to come about. So like I was saying, we're going to follow the River Wyre itself right to its mouth, the source as it goes in and out from the sea. That's at Fleetwood, between Fleetwood and Knot End. And so we're going to walk all this way around, but then part of the way around we're going to cut west, pick up the coastline, follow the coast on a beautiful sort of path all along the seaside, all the way to Fleetwood, where I hope to have an ice cream. So this part is kind of busy with dog walkers, but it's very well paved and there's occasional benches. So far so good. No need to worry about tides at this point. Tide doesn't come this far up, so all good. So this first part is quite a slog, just following the estuary past this industrial area, and it's hard gravel, so you find yourself plod. But after not last week, week before that was Yorkshire Three Peaks, week before that the Gritstone Trail with that 22 kilo pack. Wow, this is heaven compared to that. So on my back at the minute is a Montane Norken. I will do a review video of it sooner or later. Let's check in there. Weighing a fantastic 12 kilos. So I managed to strip my pack load down. It's got all the things that I think are important, but stripped away some of the non-essentials, and some bits of kit I've swapped back to what I used to have. But I'll explain more at the campsite anyway, and as we go along. So at the moment, heading into urban areas, we're going west towards sort of Midway, Cleveley's, and then we're going to obviously be on the coast there, and we're going to move north towards what did I say? That place, Fleetwood. Brain blank. Oh, sun's out. Yeah, brain blank. Up to Fleetwood. I'm definitely having an ice cream. We're going to, according to the weather report, we're going to get this all day. Hopefully for the entire weekend, because that sun's hot when the wind dies down. But shadowy on the horizon there. The Bowland Fells. We've still got one walk left to do there. Just been distracted by the Yorkshire Three Peaks. If you haven't watched that video, it's up. Me and my son, he wanted to do it. It's my third time out, and I wanted to get that coveted 12 hours we smashed it. We got 10 hours and 40 minutes to do the 24-mile circular route, so really chuffed with that. And he was, even though he was absolutely wrecked by it, his feet were, oh, they took all week to recover because he wasn't wearing the decent boots, you know, the ones. But he wasn't, I was really proud of him because he wasn't sort of deterred at the end. He did it and he recognised the achievement and kind of bounced back from it once he'd recovered. So it's not like he said he'd never walk ever again. But yeah, really proud of him. And that's crossed off the list now at 10 hours and 40 minutes. It's good stuff. So yeah, that's all I've got to say for now. Let's keep going. It's quite funny. The weather just goes from roasting hot to then freezing cold. So you never know which you're going to be in a minute. But as predicted anyway. So still heading west, we're going to go through a very confusing school area where we have public right of way, obviously for the Wyre Way, but big sign saying no entry. So it took me the first time, it took me a while to get my head around it. So then we'll just head straight through it today. And then we'll stop at a little seated area on the coast. And we'll have a brew. But we won't have a brew, will we? Because one of the things I cut was a flask. I have my stove, but I'm not really keen for a brew at the minute. I will have a can of energy drink. My second favourite form of caffeine. So, like I said, it's 45 miles. The first day is like today. It's going to be pretty urban for most of the way till we get to the campsite. And after the campsite, we're going to head to Garstang, which is where I work, roughly. And then on through Scorton to a campsite I've wanted to stay at for ages since I first walked through it. Oh, that was the Scorton Loop video. So tomorrow I think will be a better day because today's this busyness, this urban environment kind of mildly irritates me. I like to be in the boonies, I like to be isolated. So we'll get today done. Today has its plus points, ice cream. But we'll get today done and then we'll be in the boonies tomorrow, with the exception of Garstang. But I do love the Scorton Loop. And then the day after that we're 100% in the boonies all the way to the end, which is a second loop to kind of hit the starting point. So if you imagine the River Wyre starts up in the hills, in the fells, and then runs down out to the estuary, out to sea, and back and forth, etc, etc. Not back and forth, that would defy gravity. So you know what I mean, people, you know what I mean. Right, we're going to cross this busy main road, carry on to the coast. Yeah! So of course I wasn't going to film through the school, but if you look very carefully there are some Wyre Way sign markers, so one at least. But yeah, Rossall Academy, Rossall Sports Centre. So yeah, you're allowed through, and now we're literally at the coast. So we'll climb up onto the seawall and then we'll have a sit down, put a jumper on I think, because Mr. Blue Sky is vanishing rapidly. You can smell the sea air. And I've said before, I'm not a massive fan of the coast. I'm not a fan of walking along the coast. But this is an exception today. This is quite nice, all the way up to Fleetwood. Wind is just relentless, but I don't mind. Anything but rain, anything but rain. is howling. Get a look at that chaos there. Spraying even this close. Windswept. Right, so this building over here, past the golfers, nothing puts these guys off. This is the lookout point. That's where we're heading. But then we'll just carry on. And I've got to say it, because we're back in our home turf. To the right of that building is Heysham power plant. Woohoo! Yeah, so you can see off, shadowy above the off towards the obviously Morecambe Bay that way. And then you're starting to look towards Scotland, the lakes, all that lovely stuff. You can actually see where the water's dead choppy and then goes really calm. On this side the wind's died down. It's not being hit so hard. So that was nice. The toilets are usually 30p to be used. 30 pence! Highway robbery. But there was a guy working maintenance on Russell Point and he very kindly opened it for me. Delightful. So yeah, again, so we've got Heysham way off there and then onwards to the Lake District. So all that is Morecambe Bay. Helicopters coming and going, I assume from an oil rig. But yeah, still making our way now. Took the curve, so we're heading east towards Fleetwood. Not in Fleetwood yet, but when we get there we'll look for the ferry. Might even have some lunch while we're there, because all I've got in my bag is breakfast and evening meals. I did plan on having my lunch here if I needed it, and then Garstang for the second day, and I'll manage on the third. So yeah, it's going good so far. I should say as well, you'll see references to the sea swallow, like on the wall murals, and also somewhere out here, never been able to find it, because it's not the kind of thing I want to be told where it is. I kind of want to come across it. There's a limestone ogre, or a troll, and it's I suspect submerged. One day I will come across it. So this is a children's book, The Sea Swallow, written by a local author. Obviously the editor will put pictures up as we speak. I've never got the book yet, but I think after today I'll get it as a souvenir. It's quite expensive, but you'll see more references, and around here the sculptures and stuff related to the actual book. So we'll come across a few, and there is a display for the book. Must have been out for quite a while. Yeah, we'll have to get a copy.